This is Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where each week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be speaking with Ben Fraden of XXX Nifty. Adult Site Broker is proud to announce the launch of our new website at adultsitebroker.com. We've added some enhancements to the site, such as FAQs and a complete new platform. The look and feel of the new site are nice and up to date. The new site also has links to our marketplace and affiliate program. Plus, don't forget Asb Marketplace, the first platform where you can buy and sell adult sites and domains for free. Asb Marketplace allows buyers and sellers the chance to come together on properties that are valued below our company's minimum of $50,000. Don't pay for other marketplaces when Asb Marketplace gives you this service for free. Visit asbmarketplace.com and sign up as a seller or a buyer today. And of course, there's ASB Cash, the first affiliate program for an adult website brokerage where you can earn as much as 20% of our broker commission referring sellers and buyers to us at Adult Site Broker. Check out asbcash.com for more details and to sign up. Now let's feature our property of the week that's for sale at Adult Site Broker. We're proud to introduce for sale a hentai site network. The company has an Italian hentai pay site and the most popular Italian hentai free site, plus a popular game pay site. The free site has Italian hentai comics and videos and 52,000 daily views. The adult Italian game site makes over 40,000 euros a month. The hentai comics and video site makes over 11,000 euros monthly. There are also Telegram channels for the sites that are included, as well as a Patreon page. All of the sites have a ton of content, and the traffic is mostly organic. No advertising has been purchased. This is an amazing opportunity for anyone with hentai or game traffic. There's also all the necessary material to learn and manage the business included in the sale. Only 1.5 million euros. Now time for this week's interview. My guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk is Ben Fraden of XXX Nifty. Hey, Ben, thanks for being with us today on Adult Site Broker Talk.
Hey, nice to be here. Glad to talk to you.
It's a pleasure. Now, Ben is the COO and co-owner of XXX Nifty. He's worked with 3 adult NFT projects, and he has a background in the corporate level of the market research industry. He's also a musician with 13 years experience producing albums. They still have albums? Yeah, I guess they do in some points. XXX Nifty Global is the owner of the XXX Nifty Adult NFT Marketplace and the future website pleasurely.com. And I'll spell that pleasurely.com. It's a crypto-only adult media platform. XXX Nifty also is the creator of the NSFW token, the cryptocurrency designed for the adult industry. So, Ben, how does the adult industry in general benefit from cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, and I just want to say in this recording that you have a very lovely voice, so I'm hoping this gets out in the podcast itself.
Yeah, my mother loved it too, so that's I appreciate that.
But yeah, for cryptocurrencies in the adult industry, cryptocurrencies itself have benefits for the adult industry, and there's kind of overall benefits that the adult industry can get from cryptocurrencies, not just from the cryptocurrency itself, but how credit cards are currently interacting with them.
Mm-hmm.
But for just the cryptocurrencies themselves, there's a few different key points that the adult industry can get out of it. The first thing is that cryptocurrencies do prevent chargebacks from happening whatsoever. So there can't be an interaction where a buyer buys something, the payment is pending, they get the content, then they regret it or they just don't feel like paying for it, and they go to their bank or their credit card company and tell them, oh, I didn't pay for that, and then you never get your money. There's no like pending period for cryptocurrencies, so that just can't happen whatsoever.
Okay.
Then there's also higher anonymity for both the buyer and potentially the seller as well, that can protect buyers from basically having like some sort of statement in their bank statement that just says like sexy girl 69 or whatever if they buy pornography. So what would happen instead is it would likely just show up as just buying the cryptocurrency itself. So it would just say like Bitcoin or something on there, and then
Hmm.
the buyers are kind of protected that way.
Sure.
And then also the sellers would only really, in theory, be getting the wallet address of the buyer. So they could identify the buyer, they could identify what they're buying and selling, but they wouldn't necessarily get their address or name or things like that. So that can make
Hmm.
the buyer more comfortable purchasing to begin with, that
Sure.
this information isn't given out to them.
So it's totally anonymous.
It's technically semi-anonymous because you can track the wallet address, but you
Right.
can't track the person itself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could go into like the larger benefits for the industry.
Go ahead.
So the main problem with the adult industry right now is that there's, or at least it's one of the main problems, is that there's a lot of regulations coming from Visa and Mastercard.
Yes.
And so they're really prohibitive on adult websites in particular and payments online.
Hmm.
I mean, I imagine a lot of people that listen to a podcast like this would know that Pornhub had their, credit card payment services just entirely taken out of them I believe, last December.
Yep.
Um, and then OnlyFans recently, in the last month or so, announced that they were removing adult content from their website entirely. Then kind of walked back on it like 3 days later.
Yeah. Then
Um,
flipped. Yeah.
Yeah, and they likely did that just again because of the Visa and Mastercard regulations, which are about to uh, take place and upgrade or evolve in I believe October 15th or something like that, specifically
Hmm.
Mastercard.
Right.
Yeah, so I imagine a lot of people are talking about that in the industry, and so with cryptocurrencies, you can just avoid all of that entirely. Anything to do with Visa or Mastercard or credit card companies kind of telling you one way or another what you're supposed to do, that doesn't take place in the cryptocurrency world at all. So if you go with cryptocurrency payments instead, then you don't have these like regulations other than the legal regulations of the country you're in, which are much less stringent than what Visa or Mastercard says.
This is true. This is true. So let's talk about adult NFTs. What exactly are they?
Yeah, so adult NFTs, or just NFTs in general, are basically a way to sell content, like an image, video, or GIF or audio, on a blockchain like a cryptocurrency. So, just for basic understanding, a cryptocurrency is basically like an alternative money. An NFT would just be a file that's sold in the same place where the cryptocurrency is created, basically.
Hmm.
Um, so there's Bitcoin itself, and then there's a Bitcoin blockchain, or the biggest one that has NFTs is the Ethereum blockchain, which
Right.
Ethereum is the second biggest cryptocurrency, basically. Usually
Hmm.
more people know Bitcoin than Ethereum, so I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. But
Sure.
essentially, it would be taking files and selling them directly on like the Ethereum blockchain, basically. And
Hmm.
so, what that is for the adult industry is just taking adult content, pornography, pornographic images, pornographic videos, GIFs, whatever, and just selling them directly as a file on the blockchain. And the reason why you'd want to do that is because there's just a much higher value to images and videos sold as an NFT rather than
Hmm.
just a regular image or video, um, just because there's a very large amount of investors that buy into this content because of the crypto market itself. So specifically, what happens is the image or video is basically given like a token ID, or like just this little you know number that's attached to it, that's a unique number that only that image or video will have.
Right.
And then because it has that number or code, it becomes this unique product that can be bought and sold in this different way than images or videos normally have.
Hmm.
And so because of that, when you have like an image or video normally, it's going to sell for maybe $1, $10, $20. Instead of that being sold for those regular prices,
Hmm.
your same image or video as an NFT will sell for $100,
Hmm.
$1,000. Like who knows how high it goes. Like if you
Yeah.
just Google NFTs, you'll find all these crazy articles where it's like, oh, this one GIF sold for $1 million. This
Yeah.
this painting in NFT form sold for $60 million. Like, so there's really no limitation for how much they can sell, and it's literally the same content like probably anyone in the adult industry is already sitting on with hundreds, thousands. I've heard people say they have millions of images before. So
Hmm.
you could take literally every one of those images and you could sell each one of them for $100, $500. Who knows? It's a lot of revenue just kind of sitting there.
Sure. I guess with like up and coming porn stars, they could sell the NFTs for a lower price and the investors could buy them anticipating their stardom that they'd be selling for a lot more up the road. Is that pretty accurate?
I mean, the prices of adult NFTs, I mean, as far as I've seen so far and running my marketplace and seeing any other adult NFT marketplaces, isn't necessarily dependent on how big of a name they are.
Hmm.
That's definitely a big factor into it, but a lot of it is also just engaging with the people who are going to buy it themselves and really having that sort of parasocial relationship, like as
Mhm.
if you're just a streamer or anywhere else basically on social media, like, or if you're on OnlyFans and you DM people, like if you have that sort of relationship with the person,
Mhm.
even if you're a little, you can have that person that's like that one, whale investor in your
Yeah,
content, and they'll just buy, your NFT for $1,000 or something like
sure.
that.
Yeah, just to own something unique from that model, and I know that you have your whales in on the content marketplaces like OnlyFans and just for fans and OnlyVids and things like that, and those whales, not to mention the campsites, and those whales can be as a whale would indicate, huge.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just another way to really be selling your content, and it's also something that doesn't stop it from being sold as a regular image or video. So it's just this
Hmm.
other amount of money that's just kind of sitting there to be taken, really.
Got it. So if you sell it as an NFT, you can still put it on the web.
There's no real reason why you can't. There's nothing that's going to stop you from doing that.
Hmm.
It may devalue your NFT
Yeah,
if like
that's
the
what I.
image it's
That's why.
from.
That's why I asked that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you could still do it. It's just going to be harder to sell probably, but it's
Mm,
nothing stopping it from selling. Like people still will
interesting.
buy it.
Interesting.
But
I
it's
didn't
better,
realize
to
that.
have it be. It's better to have it be unique. Better to have it be
One of a kind.
exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
some to make it special or something. There's a lot of things you can do to make it worth more money as well, in all these different ways, really.
Interesting. Interesting. So how's the whole adult NFT thing going so far?
I mean, I would say it's going pretty well. Like the entire concept of an adult NFT started like this April. Like it's a really new concept.
Yeah.
Specifically, Triple X Nifty, the company I own, we're the oldest adult NFT marketplace.
Hmm.
So we're the ones that started in April,
Yeah.
and then there's been about maybe like 10 or 15 different adult NFT marketplaces that have existed one way or another.
Hmm.
Um, but I believe our marketplace does have the highest sales volume and the highest amount of revenue from its NFT marketplace. Um, I only really know of maybe a handful of others that actually are competitors, even just selling them regularly,
Yeah.
basically. But the overall market for NFTs, it kind of goes up and down with the cryptocurrency market. So
Yeah.
if cryptocurrencies are doing really well, then NFT sales are doing really well. And then if cryptocurrencies are doing really bad, then NFT sales are doing really bad. So I've definitely
Hmm.
seen it go up and down depending on what's going on in the market. So like the
Right.
market was up quite a bit in August, so
Yes.
NFT sales were up quite a bit, and then it went back down in September, so NFT sales went down a bit. But I think overall for an emerging market, it's doing pretty good, especially because
Hmm.
like no one knows what these things are even yet.
Sure, sure. And I'll remind everybody we're recording this October 1st, and Ben is doing it at the ungodly hour of 2 a.m. his time zone. So I do appreciate that. And this will be running in January of next year. So
Oh
just
wow.
keep all that in mind. Well, we're pretty backlogged as future episodes already. Yeah, we're in demand finally. 70 episodes in that we've actually ran. So Adult Site Broker Talk is going very strong. So why don't you use credit card payments on your website?
So that's interesting because we actually did have credit card payments initially on our website for like the
Hmm.
first couple months. Um, Very specifically, excuse me, very
Sure.
specifically, we had credit card payments on there because we didn't even really know if people would use cryptocurrencies to buy these things yet.
Mm.
Um, we had a discount that would be on the cryptocurrency itself that we control, since we have our own cryptocurrency itself and not just
Yes.
like use other cryptocurrencies. And we put I think it was a 5 or 10% discount. I believe it was a 10% discount at first.
Mhm.
That said, okay, you could use your credit card or you get this 10% discount with our cryptocurrency. And so people slowly started using the cryptocurrency more and more. And
Sure.
then at a certain point, we just took off the credit cards entirely just because like everybody was just using the cryptocurrency basically and they had gotten comfortable
Mm.
using it. It's something where we really did that overall because we want to be a cryptocurrency only company
Mhm.
for a lot of different reasons, and I
Yep.
believe we talked about it a little bit with
Sure.
the Visa and Mastercard regulations. If we're
Mhm.
cryptocurrency only, we don't have to worry about all that stuff on our websites. Basically,
Sure.
we don't have to worry about those Mastercard regulations that are coming into play in October, essentially. So that's really why we have it off entirely.
Yeah, and they'll have been well established by the first of the year. Although God knows where they'll be then. They could even be tighter. So, you have a cryptocurrency. What's been the progress of that in terms of usage and value?
Yeah, so I there's basically kind of like a I don't know how to describe it, like a pathway that all startup cryptocurrencies go on. So
Hmm.
there's really big cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that. Those are ones that have like really big amounts of money into them,
Yep.
and when they launch, they're launching with like no pre-sale or anything like that. They're just launching with a ton of money already poured into it.
Yep.
For startup cryptocurrencies, they go through what's called a pre-sales phase,
Hmm.
and so that's basically where a bunch of money is raised to fund what's called a liquidity pool for the cryptocurrency, and that's
Hmm.
what's necessary to actually make it function and so people can buy and sell it.
I see.
um, it generally needs like literally hundreds of thousands of dollars to be put into it to function.
Hmm.
And if at any time the liquidity pool gets too low, then the cryptocurrency actually doesn't work anymore.
Hmm.
I actually didn't know all this stuff at this level until I was like running this company. Before
Yeah.
I started out in just marketing
Right.
with cryptocurrencies, and so now I have a pretty good understanding of how these things function overall.
Yeah.
And so for the cryptocurrency itself, like if you track it from the pre-sales phase to like this moment of where we're at with our cryptocurrency, I mean we're probably up like 100 times or something if you bought in like day one of the cryptocurrency. Like if you bought in
Wow.
right at the end of the pre-sales phase and got
I
it
wish
in
I.
like
I
that
wish.
one day.
Well, I wish I had. Why didn't you tell me?
It's actually how it works in crypto. Like if you're
Yeah.
investing at the startup level,
Yeah.
a lot of people will just buy all these tokens, hour one, day one, and see how
Hmm.
it does. And that's where the people get literally like 10 times their money back, 100 times their money
Mm.
back, stuff like
Wow.
that. So ours is up quite a bit because usually what happens is you have the pre-sales phase, people put all this money in, then at the end of the pre-sale phase, they're supposed to get a certain amount of the cryptocurrency for putting money into the token,
Hmm.
and then everybody just sells. Basically, they just like sell hour one, and then the token is down like 90% of from where it started,
Oh,
and then you have
geez.
to do this really long process of like slowly getting people back to get back to where you were at like
Sure.
hour one of the cryptocurrency or something like that.
Jeez.
But for us, we're actually successful, so we've gone above and beyond where we're at for the pre-sales phase, and we're much higher than there because we've done all kinds of marketing events
Hmm.
and connections, and people see what we're doing, so
Sure.
it's actually pretty successful.
Yeah, and you've got a lot more behind your coin than I think a lot of companies do.
Cryptocurrencies usually like don't really have like a real reason for why they exist.
Hmm.
Like if you look at something
Exactly.
like Dogecoin,
Hmm.
it
Well, that
like
was a
there's no.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah, it has no purpose. It just
Right.
like is there.
Right.
It doesn't have a function for what its use is. So we're technically what's called a utility token, which is a little ridiculous, but it just means like we literally have a reason to exist.
How about that? What a concept. What a
Yeah, just like
concept. A
why not?
reason to exist. My God. Just think about it. That blows me away. Hey, I'm learning a lot here, and I'm sure our listeners are as well. What do you think the future of the adult industry holds?
Yeah, so I think for the adult industry as a whole, it just looks like to me like there's been like a 20-year history of like, or probably really going back further than that, but I know of
Hmm.
just going back about 20 years of
Right.
about of credit card vendors just kind of getting stingier and stingier on the industry.
Hmm.
Like I know at a certain point you could use American Express with the adult industry, and
Yep.
those could be used for payments on websites, and
Yep.
you can't do that anymore. They just took
Nope.
that whole thing away at some point.
Yes, they
So
did.
now when people say credit card vendors, they just mean Visa and MasterCard and no one else because no one
Hmm.
else does it.
Right.
And Visa and MasterCard have like slowly over time gotten like stricter and stricter and more controlling of like what adult companies can do with their payments. And they also give
Hmm.
like a crappy rate for the like the payment processing to
Yes,
the adult
yes,
industry.
they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
It's
Like
called
other
it's
industries
called
get a better
high
rate.
risk. It's called high risk processing.
Yeah, no, it sucks.
Yes.
Um, So I've just seen it get worse and worse, and I don't really see them just kind of turning around and be like, "Oh, no, we actually like you guys now. Let's
Right.
let's be friends." Like
They've
it's
always.
probably just going to keep
Yeah.
getting more
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah. As the political pressure continues, as everything gets weirder, I don't know. I don't know 5 years from now if there will even be credit card processing in adult. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible that Visa and Mastercard just straight up cancel all adult payments at a certain point.
Mm,
I think there would be a backlash to that, but it's like also like
they don't care.
it would yeah, it would be taking a headache away from them. Like we're not like a significant percentage of their business,
No,
the adult industry.
no.
They can live without us pretty much, and it will just save them a lot of time and effort pretty
Yep.
much just trying to regulate us.
Yep.
So I think that's really possible that happens, and
Hmm.
so I think that's one of the real main reasons why cryptocurrency is such a benefit to the adult industry, because it's pretty much like a helping hand coming to like this drowning person, being like, "Here, gotcha." You could still keep going,
Hmm.
because
Exactly.
otherwise, like all this would just be done
Yeah.
online.
Yeah. Exactly. So, what do you think the future of crypto holds?
Cryptocurrency as a whole, not just with the adult industry. I mean, I think it's just going to keep being more widely adapted, but then it's
Hmm.
also going to be more standardized. Where right now, if you're like a cryptocurrency investor or someone making a cryptocurrency business, it's like the wild west right now. There's like
Yeah.
no regulations,
Right.
like there's nothing really telling you how you're supposed to do taxes with it. It's not clear to anyone really.
Hmm.
I think there'll
Yeah,
be a
tell me, a guy that brokers websites, and they go, "Oh, by the way, and we did X amount in crypto, but I can't prove it."
yeah, no, it's weird. Like, and they just passed like new laws. I think there was something in one of those really big omnibus bills that was just like a little chunk of it, like a page or something for cryptocurrency,
Yep.
and their passage in there about cryptocurrency and taxation was like nonsense, and no one really knows how to handle it next year when they basically come to try to pay taxes for it. It's just going to be a big headache to
Well, how can
accountants, pretty
they?
much.
Well, how can they require it when virtually everything's offshore and they don't have control over it?
Yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen when I personally try to pay taxes next year. What what they're going to even count or not count, which transactions will connect to being taxed or not taxed. It's very unclear to
Hmm.
me. But I think that's where it's going to go. Is that there will be more clear regulations that this is what we want from it. This is what we expect. And I think that like a lot of people are scared about that in crypto. That like,
Hmm.
oh no, they're going to regulate us out of existence. But
Hmm.
honestly, there's like so much stuff that should be regulated in the crypto space. Like so many like
Hmm.
weird scams and things. Like I can tell you all kinds of stories on that of just like crazy things I've seen where I'm like, man, that should
Tell
be
me
illegal. I
one.
don't want people doing that.
Tell me one good one.
I got a really good one actually
Good.
that just happened.
Okay.
Um, so I've been on like three projects actually.
Hmm.
Triple X Nifty is the third project I was on. I'm
Okay.
now the co-owner, so I'm not switching anywhere else. But
Hmm.
I was doing marketing for a couple other projects previously. One previous project I'm on, and I'm not going to name it, but one previous project I was on it for about a month. I was the marketing person on there, just going and like reaching out to the adult industry and creators and bringing them to the token. I worked with this one guy. He was the owner. I found him pretty immature. I found him like he didn't know what he was doing whatsoever. He knew nothing of 2257 regulations. Didn't seem to care about getting photo IDs or anything like that. And so at a certain point, I left the token just because I just had enough of working for that guy, and I just switched to another token because I have a pretty good resume in this stuff, and I can just go find another one easily.
Yeah.
But I left it, and then after I left it, they didn't replace any sort of marketing person at all. So I noticed it just kind of wither and die. Over the course of 2 months, I saw that the owner, at a certain point, he just abandoned his token for 2 months and left it to the other staff, and he was just in Mexico or something. And apparently he came back from his Mexico trip for 2 months and said, "Oh, let's just do another pre-sale. I quit this token, and okay, everybody that bought into my token now, I'm gonna make this other token, and you have to buy that, and then you'll get your money back," which is not uncommon in crypto, but that itself is pretty weird and sketchy. So he canceled his whole cryptocurrency and then made a new one, put in the pre-sale, but didn't market it because he didn't have a marketing person. And so to get through pre-sale, to get that liquidity pool filled, you need a certain amount of money, and it didn't reach what it needed. And if that happens, all the money just goes back to the original people. So he didn't even get a second cryptocurrency started, and so now he's sitting there.
I think I know what they call just abandoning it and not paying people. I believe it's called theft.
Yeah, I mean, in the crypto world, it's called a rug pull specifically. And so that's what the guy did. So he had all this money from the original cryptocurrency. He failed making a second one, and so there's a specifically Telegram, which is a social app that's used a lot in the cryptocurrency world. All the people are there going, "Okay, can we have our money back?" And then all of a sudden, just the Telegram was muted and no one could talk in it anymore.
Wow.
And he just left. He's left with everybody's money. He probably left with $100,000 at least. And so this is where it gets really stupid, though. Is that he was sloppy about it. Usually, if you have a rug pull scam where you just steal everybody's money, you take the liquidity pool yourself. You just delete the whole Telegram, and you never give your name out so no one can find you. Basically, you just kind of take the money and run pretty much. But he didn't delete anything. He just left it muted. And so another admin that got their money stolen just unmuted it and just said, "Hey, this guy just stole all our money." And I mean, this happened 2 days ago. And so I'm looking in the chat, and I know the guy's personal information, so people are coming to me "Hey, can you give me his address and his name and where he's at?"
Why don't you put it on Telegram?
I mean, I'm not going to say if I gave any information out, but people are real mad, and I mean, they're people in the crypto world, so they're "I'm going to get these people from Poland to go and meet them," and I'm like, man,
Oops.
I don't want anything to do with that. I don't know what that means.
Oops,
I don't want to know.
I do. I do, and he probably deserves it. What about the future for the big cryptocurrencies? Do you think those things are gonna continue to go up and shoot higher?
For Bitcoin or Ethereum, I mean, Bitcoin, I could see Bitcoin being topped out. And this is my personal prediction. I don't really know or any one way or another, but my personal thought is that Bitcoin is maybe it can get up to 100,000. I think it's gone up to around 70,000 earlier this year or something like that.
44 now.
Yeah, it's down a lot from a couple months ago. I think it could peak at 100,000, and then that's it. It's probably going to go down from there. That's my thought. And the main reason is that I think Ethereum or another token may take its place as the top cryptocurrency.
I hope so. That's the one I'm in.
Which one, Ethereum?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ethereum's the one that has all the NFTs on it. It's the one that has smart contracts and that you can put all this extra stuff on it. Bitcoin doesn't have anything like that, and it just it's just a payment transactor, so it doesn't do much. Where Ethereum can do all these different things, and they're trying to basically make it so that it's not actually destructive to the environment, and that's one of the key issues that I think people don't like about NFTs and cryptocurrencies. So they're trying to actually work on that, and I think if they actually can do that, that it probably will become the lead token. And it's worth maybe $3,000 like that. So if it really blew up, that means it's going to, 100,000 from there. I mean, if you have money in it right now, you're going to make a ton of money in it, basically.
Good. I like that.
Good. I hope you
Always,
have some.
always a good thing. Always a good thing. So, what are your goals with XXX Nifty?
I would say we have a couple different goals. I mean, we have a goal for, what we personally want financially, and then we have probably more of like our mission statement, um, overall, philosophy of what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, personally, as a business, we're basically trying to be one of the future staples in the adult industry
Mm-hmm.
for payment, especially when all these regulations start really coming into play with Visa and MasterCard, where all these different websites are not going to be able to use credit card processing. We
Right.
want to be the people that kind of step in and be like, okay, you can use our payment processor, or hey, you can just come to our websites. We're not gonna have any problems with these things,
Right.
basically. But then from like a kind of mission statement kind of philosophy type of thing, I mean, we're basically trying to be like the home for sex workers and people in the adult industry, pretty much. We're trying to be a place where you're not going to have a fear that you're going to get kicked off this platform when we decide like, oh, you're too much of a risk. We want to go
Mm-hmm.
make money elsewhere. We're never going to have a reason to do that. I mean, we're
Sure.
explicitly a cryptocurrency company designed for the adult industry. Our
Nice.
cryptocurrency has NSFW in the name. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably not going to be used for regular business ideas being named that. We have
Yeah.
a triple X in our company's name, so
Yep.
we're going to be flagged with all the adult stuff just like you guys,
Yep.
and we're out and proud about it pretty much. I mean,
Good.
that's what we're here to do, is to be the the payment people for the adult industry. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've also done something in which I've tried to put sex workers in positions of power within my company and to make them equity partners or managers over things, just so that like I can hear what they want, because you can hear my voice. Like, I have a male body, a male voice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna necessarily know what, like, who's primarily a female sex worker,
Right.
what they're gonna necessarily want or need or things like that. So I've tried to make sure that there's a good amount of workers under me and people in pretty good amounts of positions of power, like I said, and not
Mm-hmm.
just like entry level employees that can basically tell me and correct me and be like, okay, this is what we want, this is what we want out of this website and this cryptocurrency and what we prefer. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I'm really trying to do, is kind of make it so like it's like the home for like these people, basically, like the adult industry as a whole.
Sweet. Sweet. Now, what problems do you see with other adult crypto projects?
Yeah, so there's like I said, probably like 15, 20, maybe 30. I'm not even sure how many like adult cryptocurrency projects that exist as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
There was very specifically one very high profile adult cryptocurrency back in March, which was Cum Rocket, which is a really dumb name, but it basically made a lot of money just because it was such a dumb name. Um, they blew up back in like March or April or something like that. So their cryptocurrency is actually older than our cryptocurrency, but our
Okay.
NFT marketplace is older than their NFT marketplace. So it kind of like trades back and forth,
Right.
basically. They literally went to a market cap of like over $100 million back
Jeez.
in like March and April.
Yeah.
Um, because people just thought it was a really cool idea of like adult NFTs and things like that. Um, they then also got tweeted by Elon Musk specifically, where he started talking about them one day,
Ooh.
and so a lot of people know who they are. I think they're on like I think was it Bill Mayer? I think he talked a bit
Bill
about
Maher. Yeah.
Cum Rocket. Did I
Hmm.
say his name
I
stupid?
don't remember him mentioning it. I see all his shows, but I'll take your word for it.
There was some segment he had on cryptocurrency, and he explicitly
Mm-hmm.
called out Cum Rocket, and he didn't say
Interesting.
it in a nice way, but it was just
No.
literally like
Oh
he
no,
said the
no,
words.
that doesn't surprise me. He didn't talk about OnlyFans or Pornhub in a nice way either. So, which kind of surprises me with Mar because he's so into his vices. I don't understand why he's so prudish when it comes to porn.
I always found him to be kind of a jerk. I mean, to
Of
be
course he
honest.
is. Oh, he's a big time jerk, but I love his show. He has great guests and he's very funny.
Yeah, I've watched him a bit. I know he had like a good documentary and stuff like that. But yeah, so he
Hmm.
just like basically said their name, and it's kind of like there's
Oh yeah,
no such news as bad news. Like, all
right.
publicity is good.
Yep.
So they just kind of blew up from all those like types of things in the media. And so because of that, there's all kinds of projects that came into play that were like, oh, look at them, we could do the same thing. And so there's still
Interesting.
projects copying them to this day. So one of the big copies was Porn Rocket. Same name, just with one different
Jeez.
word. And they got even bigger. They went up
Original.
to like $150 million or something like that.
Hmm.
And so, I mean, the real thing is that like there's a lot of hype on these things, and so it doesn't matter what these
Yes.
companies do. If
Right.
people are just excited about it, all these people will pour money into it no matter what.
Hmm.
Um, so they can just ride on the hype and not really do things. But the main problems I see with these other tokens like
Hmm.
Cum Rocket and Porn Rocket is that,
Right.
I mean, they're just not really putting, like, there's two main problems I see. One is either they're not putting in the effort to really be a business, in the adult industry. Like they're not
Hmm.
trying super hard, or they don't really know what they're doing,
Hmm.
or they're not even really trying to be like a business. They're just literally like a pump and dump cryptocurrency saying they're doing things.
Got it.
So the ones that are actually trying, I mean, I don't really see them really connecting in the adult industry. I don't see them talking to studios or really talking to creators. I see them talking on social media,
Hmm.
but I don't like ever hear about them in conversations with like anyone else in the adult industry.
Got
I
it.
went to Miami Exotica
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and we had a booth there. My brand ambassador, she did a live performance there, and we had an NFT seminar.
Cool.
I mean, it's basically the kind of place where, if you're a company like me, that you really should be there, like networking. And we were the only cryptocurrency company there whatsoever. No one else was there. Like none of this other competition even showed up. And I mean, I made a whole bunch of connections and networked to people, but I just don't see the other companies doing that. And then, like I said, like a bunch of them are just literally like, they say they do something, but all they really want is people to buy into their cryptocurrency, and they don't really
Sure.
care about what they're saying they're doing.
So they're not really taking part in the industry. They're just, cashing in.
Yeah, they're just trying to make money from just saying they're doing something, and then people buy into it, and then they probably are just gonna do what that other guy did and just take all the money one day and leave.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of money to take. It's a lot more than $100,000. That's for sure. And the sad part is that people can do that, and that's rough. That's really really rough. So like you said, there is a need for regulation. Where do you see yourself in a year with XXX Nifty, or Triple X Nifty, as you like to call it?
Yeah, I mean, I think of it as triple X Nifty in my head, but
Okay,
either one.
I'll try
Um,
that.
I've heard people say 3X Nifty too, or 3XN, and all these other
You
things.
don't care what they
Uh,
call you as long as they call you.
I probably should pick one or the other. I like triple X Nifty. But
Okay.
yeah, so in a year from now, I mean, we're launching an OnlyFans competitor type website, which you mentioned at the beginning,
Right.
Pleasurely,
Mhm.
within October of 2021.
Mm.
Um, so I think literally a year from now, we're likely going to be continually expanded.
Yeah.
We have some plans going in the 2022 past our NFT marketplace or cryptocurrency and OnlyFans website. We're likely also going to go into VR, and there's this whole concept called the metaverse. That's like a whole other conversation we could be having
Mhm.
about virtual property you can have and sell. And so we could be taking like our NFTs and put it into this virtual space and have it
Wait, you
all
mean I can
be
have a
able to
house?
sell.
Wait, you mean I can have a house on Mars?
It's literally like that movie, what, Ready Player One or something
Mhm.
like that,
Okay.
where it's like you virtual world and you have all these
Yeah,
places and planets and things like that.
sure.
And like video game companies are making these things, and
Mm.
it's just like one of those other, you never heard of it, but there's all this crazy money into it type of thing. And
Mm.
so we're likely gonna go into that direction going into 2022,
Mm.
and then also probably expand so that like our token can be used as a payment vendor on other websites.
Mm.
So I mean, I imagine we're going to be pretty embedded in the adult industry at a certain point because our tokens can be all over the place.
Sweet, sweet. Now, why do you think cryptocurrencies haven't been adapted faster within the adult industry?
Yeah, there's a one really major problem with cryptocurrencies in the adult industry, and that's it's just real annoying to buy a cryptocurrency fast. Like with a
Mm.
credit card, you click a button, you get your money, you get your porn or whatever.
Right.
With a cryptocurrency, I mean, there's all kinds of like weird hoops and things that get in the way. Where it's like, okay, you have to have a cryptocurrency wallet. Okay, the
Hmm.
cryptocurrency wallet is housed on this app. Okay, it needs to be this extension on your browser.
Hmm.
It has to, then connect to the website. Okay, now it needs to trade this cryptocurrency for this other cryptocurrency, and it becomes like this like 5-step process.
Right.
And I mean, I always
And the
hear
guy's,
this in
and the
the
guy's got his dick in his hand.
yeah, that's always what I hear. Is it's just like, oh, this guy's so horny, he's not going to buy it once he loses his boner, basically.
Right.
And that's what happens with crypto. Is it's
Right.
just kind of consumer unfriendly
Hmm.
to purchase compared to just using cash or a credit card, and that type of thing can be solved over time.
Hmm.
There'll definitely be what's called fiat on ramps that just take your credit card money and convert it to crypto in like one
Hmm.
button click at some point, but
Right.
it's not fully there yet. Like it's not in 2021 at a place where the adult industry can just have that, button click straight to cryptocurrency. So it's still like something that's being developed basically by probably a lot of different companies, and someone's going to have it. It might be us that has it first. I don't know.
Hmm.
That can offer that solution to the adult industry of just real simple crypto buying, or even something where it looks like you're using a credit card, but then
Hmm.
on the back end, the credit card goes and buys a crypto, and then the crypto goes and transacts with the adult website or something like that.
Interesting.
um, it's like a complex thing to design that just doesn't exist, but
Mhm.
it's not like it's infeasible. It's just someone has to make it, basically.
It'll happen. It'll happen. Everything important does happen eventually. So, what problems are you looking to solve for the adult industry?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about it a little bit
Yes.
here and there, but I mean, the main problem that we solve with our cryptocurrency is I mean, just getting around the whole Visa and MasterCard regulations, giving another way that pornography can be bought in a way that's deregulated, in a way where there can't be a person that says you're not allowed to do that. Basically, as long as it's legal in the country, like you can
Hmm.
basically use it on a cryptocurrency blockchain and sell it that way.
Right.
Other solutions that we do have, I mean, we're really giving just another revenue stream that
Right.
anyone in the adult industry can have through NFTs.
Hmm.
It's just something that, it doesn't overlap with selling regular pornography. You could just take the same content, sell it another way. So it's just giving the adult industry just another, injection of cash, pretty much, that they can
Right.
take advantage of.
Hmm.
Um, and then also it's a something for independent creators where they can feel comfortable or more comfortable using cryptocurrencies for the reasons I said previously, like
Hmm.
for no chargebacks, for the increased
Right.
anonymity, because they're not going to get kicked off the platform, things like that.
Hmm.
So there's quite a few solutions that really helps, and honestly, like the adult industry is probably the only real industry I can think of where cryptocurrencies even make sense to use over cash or credit cards.
Yes.
Like, there's actually a reason you guys would want to use it. There's not a
Oh,
reason why
big time.
anyone else would necessarily use cryptocurrencies. They could,
Hmm.
but they don't have to, where you guys really have more of a need to use it.
Big time. Now, how do you think sex workers can gain from working with XXX Nifty?
I mean, like it's just all the benefits I've said previously, but I mean the main thing for overall, again, is just extra revenue stream. It's a future proof method that they can always make money off of. That they can, they're not going to get kicked off the platform, like I said. But in comparison to other crypto projects, I mean, that's something I haven't really talked about yet, but I mean, there's a lot of just shadiness in the cryptocurrency world, and I've elaborated a little bit on that. Um, but I mean, you have to really think about, if you're going to work with a crypto project, you're going to be giving this person probably your photo ID,
Hmm.
probably like your address, your face, all these things,
Yeah.
and you have to think like, okay, there's a lot of scams in this space.
Hmm.
Do I really trust like giving my information to this cryptocurrency company?
Yeah.
And I mean, be honest, like there's a lot of them you really shouldn't do that to. That I know personally, like bad things have happened with. There was a one specific NFT company, cryptocurrency, that specifically, like, they had photo IDs, and then they had like one weird person that was like taking the photo IDs, and they basically started like having demands to the sex workers, or
Oh,
else they were
jeez.
threatening to just dox their photo IDs and make them public,
Oh,
basically.
lovely. Lovely.
Yeah, and so that's like the kind of like threat that like can happen if you just like work with the wrong company,
Right.
and we're a company, we already have equity partners in the business. We have sex workers and positions of power. Like I said, we're working with studios and all these other creators. So, I mean, I personally think we're, much more well vetted as a company than probably any other cryptocurrency project in the adult space. I can't
Mm-hmm.
think of many others
Right.
that I would personally feel safe giving a credit card to. I would
Mm-hmm.
say maybe Spank Chain is decent off the top of my head. They've been
Yeah.
around longer,
Right.
but I can't really think of any others where
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, oh yeah, it's perfectly fine to just hand your photo ID to them or something like that.
Sure. Sure. So how about adult studios and companies? How can they benefit working with, I'll say it right this time, Triple X Nifty?
Thank you. For studios and for companies, or also for photographers too, that have lots of content like that.
Hmm.
I mean, it again, like it's one of those things where you if you're one of these people that owns a company, owns a studio, is you're a photographer or something like that. That in the adult world, that just means you have mountains and mountains of content that's just been sitting around. Like if you've been around for 20 years, you probably literally have hundreds of thousands of images and
Hmm.
videos that aren't really being monetized one way or another, or it's something
Sure.
where it's like you have 100 images and you're selling them for like a set, and they sell for like $10, and they're just sitting on some web page somewhere from 10 years ago. This same content, I mean, you can remonetize it, you can turn it into NFTs. And I mean, there is a problem that like you can't literally take 100,000 images at the same time and turn them all into NFTs at the same time. There's a certain
Hmm.
amount of scarcity you need to have, so it has to be kind of like a slow rollout.
Right.
um but you can take this content still, and you can remonetize it, have a new revenue stream, and it's not that much work really to be doing that. I mean,
Hmm.
if you're just taking a straight up like an image or something and turning it into an NFT, like it's not really a process at all. I mean, it's the same thing as just uploading that image to like Google Drive or something like that. Like it's
Hmm.
not like some technical process on your end of things. And then working with Triple X Nifty in particular, I mean, we have deals with studios where they basically just hand us content and we turn it to NFTs. We do the marketing. We just hand them back money pretty much, and like they don't really have to do much other than just like give us the content and
Hmm.
sign a document that says we legally can do that, basically.
That's a beautiful thing.
So so it's just like another way they can just get money pretty much. So it's kind of straightforward to me, really.
That's awesome. So, Ben, how can somebody contact you?
I mean, I have an email. We have a Twitter. I have a phone number. I probably shouldn't say my phone number in the middle of a
Nah, I
podcast,
wouldn't
but
do that. You can say
yeah,
your email though.
yeah, that'd be a better option. But my email is just ben@xnifty.com. So that's like BEN at sign XXXNIFTY.com. I believe I spelled
Hmm.
that right. And then our social media is all just XXX Nifty on Twitter, on YouTube. I think our Instagram has been banned, just like a lot of people in the adult industry, at
Oh,
least once.
congratulations! You joined the club.
Yeah, so I think right now in October we're at X.XX Nifty on Instagram. So we'll see what it is by January. It's probably gonna be something different by then. Um, but yeah, email or Twitter is probably the best place to contact us. And then we also do have a Telegram that I believe is just XXXNifty_official. And pretty much all the developers or myself, we're going to be in there throughout the day. So if you actually stop by there, a lot of our creators are there. I'm there. My managers are there. Things like that.
Hmm. Fantastic. Well, hey, Ben, I'd like to thank you again for being our guest today on Adult Site Broker Talk. And I hope we'll get a chance to do this again really soon.
Awesome. I had a really good time.
Me too. My broker tip today is part 2 of what to do to make your site more valuable for when you decide to sell it later. Keep your website design up to date. Do a redesign from time to time. People will tend to think your site is the same as ever and click out of it without even looking if something doesn't change. So keep it fresh and up to date. Times change, so should your website. Look at what your competitors are doing and see what it is you really like. Emulate success. If you know a site to be particularly successful, look at what it is they're doing and do some of the same things. I'm not saying copy it. I'm just suggesting you improve your site by looking around a bit. You've got to keep up with the times or you're going to end up being left behind. Also, keep an eye on your competition and make sure you're offering everything on your site that they are or more. Don't just look at their design, but make sure your offers are good and you're competitive. The same goes for your content. Do you ever wonder why one site does well and others don't? Check out the competition's content. What are they doing that you're not doing? Be willing to make changes. People can't understand why they're losing sales to a competitor, yet the competitor is clearly doing everything better. Emulate success. Make sure everything on your website works well. Make sure all your links work properly. Check them on a regular basis. If things don't work, you'll lose customers. People are not patient these days. People's attention spans are like that of a gnat. They'll click out immediately and go to the next result in Google if they don't find what they're looking for. If the site is hard to navigate, or if things just don't work, check all your internal scripts and plugins and make sure they're updated regularly as well. We'll talk about this subject more next week. And next week we'll be speaking with Massey of Feet for Cash. And that's it for this week's Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guest, Ben Fraden of XXX Nifty. Talk to you again next week on Adult Site Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.